This is the Audio Fit Test Podcast, where we change the game for beginners to health and fitness. No fads, no gimmicks, just solid advice that will get you results. In this episode, we find out why Jim became a fitness author, why he is still pursuing it, and what's in it for you. Here's Jim of jimshealthandmuscle.com, who actually has another small cleaning business to his name. So if you ever need any floors mopping, his number is 555-36.
Hi, I'm Jim from audiofittest.com, jimshealthandmuscle.com, and now yourfitnesssuccess.com. Yep, I changed the domain of the new upcoming site as the dynamic has changed while I've been planning the course and creating it. So I'm still working on this and there's a lot to do. So when I have something half decent, I'll share it with you guys that are interested on my list and the social media channels. But before we get stuck into this episode, I just want to thank a few people for some recent reviews of the podcast channel. These reviews really help me out, not only because it gives me credibility, but because they help me to improve too. So first, thanks to LKL27 from the United States. This was kind of a request for more episodes, and the podcast is still pretty new, but my plan was, and still is, to get out at least one episode every month, and I hope to ramp this up soon, but I'm spending most of my time developing the home workout for the beginners video course at the moment. This is going to be hosted on the new website that I just mentioned, yourfitnesssuccess.com, and this is really exciting for me because it's something that I've wanted to do for years. But there is a lot of work involved and it's just me on my own at the moment, so it's a huge time commitment, but when it's finished, it will be the perfect course for anyone wanting to transform their body using a long-term sustainable plan that involves not just physical workouts but mindset techniques to build mental robustness. There'll be a cooking and nutrition section, and it'll give all the information needed or all of the pieces of the puzzle needed to achieve real long-term fitness success. So if you are interested in this, I'll drop updates on the podcast from time to time, but we'll also dish out updates through email to the list. I'll also offer this at an extremely discounted price when it comes to you guys on the list on the launch too, so look out for that. Thanks also to Pez1977 from the UK for the podcast review, and mate, massive congratulations on losing 4 stone and starting to do triathlons. That's absolutely awesome. When I started writing about fitness in 2013, this kind of success is what I wanted for everyone that read my stuff. But it has to be said that all I did was write what to do. You did all the work, so should take all the credit. But yeah, that's totally awesome. Mega results, and long may it continue. And it'd be great to hear how the progress is going. So yeah, that's mega. Last but not least, thanks to L_MC from the UK for the podcast review. I'm really glad you like the podcast, and thank you so much for pointing out the mistake I made in episode 10. I said multiply or times when I was supposed to say divide, and this was a terrible mistake, but I've now edited this and it is now correct. I know it's no excuse, but I've always had issues with maths and often get things back to front, but I'll never make this type of mistake again. So again, thanks so much for pointing that out. Very valuable to me, that was. And a big thanks to everyone who reviews my stuff, whether this is on the podcast platform that you're listening on now or for my books over on Amazon. I probably wouldn't be able to do this without you guys and the visibility that these reviews are accountable for. So virtual high five to everyone who's helped me out in this way. Really appreciate it. And I can't say that enough. Anyway, back to the episode. In this one, I wanted to share a bit about my journey and how I got here. I understand that fitness instructors doing podcasts, being on YouTube, being all over your social media, popping up in annoying ads are pretty much all over the internet, are 10 a penny. And in this day and age, there is a lot of information out there, and much of this information seems to be contradictory when it comes to, the best way to lose weight or the best weight loss diet or the best way to build muscle, etc, etc, and it goes on. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I want to give you some advice that I know to be true from being in the fitness industry before we get started. And if you have this outlook from the start, you'll no doubt have a less confusing and more worthwhile fitness journey. You will also probably not hear many fitness professionals say this sort of stuff either, especially not the online guys. Well, I certainly haven't heard it. And this advice is, once you have found an exercise, diet or workout plan that you want to try, stop looking, focus on that plan and give it a real chance. And here's why. One thing that I learned very early on in my fitness instructor career was that every fitness instructor or personal trainer has been trained in a slightly different way. Some have been trained with more of a focus on cardio and some with more of a focus on resistance. Some instructors have been trained with a focus on teaching classes rather than one-to-one basis, and some have started out their career being interested in sports-specific training such as running or boxing even, strength training, or even classes such as spin classes. Some instructors have found their way to the industry after having personal success with types of weight loss crash diets, or are even affiliated with weight loss supplement or weight loss system companies. I'm sure you'll be familiar with this too, but this is their idea for their clients. Now the point here is that every fitness instructor or personal trainer has their own story and has their own ideas on how to get their clients or followers to hit a certain result, and there's always disagreement between diet and training methods. But I'm going to say that an undisputed constant among every personal trainer or fitness instructor that's worth their salt is that whatever you do with your training or diet to get any result, you need long-term, consistent effort, and results won't come overnight. So my idea as a fitness instructor or guy on the internet who writes fitness books and creates online courses and of course records himself talking about fitness stuff is to guide people on their fitness journey to focus on long-term progressive lifestyle change and give anyone who's willing to invest their time in my ideas the opportunity to hit their personal goals by developing mental robustness, self-educating in diet and training, planning for success and executing this plan so the results are long-term, positive and life-changing, not only from a physical perspective but from a mental standpoint too. Now I'm fully aware that this doesn't sound half as sexy as I can make you beach body ready in just 6 easy weeks, or 6-pack abs in just 2 minutes a day, or with this easy diet I lost 10 stone in 2 weeks. See, when I took my first steps into a gym with my shiny new qualification and started training people, and I also treated myself to some new trainers for the occasion. This was a big one for me because I always used running trainers and always wore them until they disintegrated, so at least looked a bit more professional and not some rough bloke who just got out of the army and was still half feral. Anyway, at this point, I knew, quote unquote, with 100% certainty that I could make a life-changing difference to every single person that came to me for help with weight loss, muscle building, toning, or long-distance running. I had a good background, was qualified, and had been through all of these challenges myself, so I had more experience in the fitness arena than most personal trainers did or do when they are just getting started into the business. I was so enthusiastic and willing to over-deliver every time I got a new client or before every circuit class I'd run, because these guys were here to change their life. And I couldn't wait to share in their happiness because I knew what that feeling of achievement is like when you see your first fitness results. There really isn't much of a better motivator than seeing that the work you've put in is starting to pay off. You get to this point and the rest is downhill. You're more likely going to hit your goals and change your life completely, not just in body, in mind too. One of the saddest realizations of my fitness career that really made me disillusioned with personal training and fitness instructing, and actually made me want to look for another career, was that not everyone is as enthusiastic as I was about earning real life-changing fitness results, even if they said they wanted it and they were paying me too. I was even charging more than double what other personal trainers in my area were charging. It turned out that about 1 in 10 of my clients actually did what I advised. I even spoke to other personal trainers that had been doing this for years about this frustration, and the reaction was, and it still is, well, this is my business, and if my clients want to pay me for my time but don't do what I say, that's not my problem. And I totally get this, and it's absolutely the right attitude if you want to run a successful PT business. But that was just not, and still isn't, good enough for me. Sure, it was great to see the 1 out of 10 clients get their results and share in this progress, but I couldn't shake the frustration, so I actually stopped doing personal training and just focused on someone that I knew would put in the work, follow the plans that I made with diet and exercise, and get the results. I just focused on my own training, and to be honest, it was a relief. A few years passed and I worked in a totally different industry, IT, believe it or not, but my passion for fitness and bodybuilding at the time had not gone away by any means. I still get new people ask me all the time about what I was doing, how I trained, why I was eating the food I was eating, and I'd get work colleagues, friends, and even random people in the gym ask me for fitness advice, and more often than not, I'd feel myself giving out more information than they'd asked for and wanted to share all of my knowledge, mistakes I'd made, and advice on how they can hit their personal goal, training methods, kinesiology, fat burning ideas, diet, mindset advice, and all of this stuff. But I'd always remember that feeling of disappointment and knowing that these guys are likely to be in the 9 out of 10 and not that one super client. And they probably weren't half as interested or as enthusiastic about actually earning results as I was. And I became very aware of this, and after hearing myself a few times chattering away to someone who was in danger of just walking off, I think, halfway through our conversation, I ended up using 1-sentence answers from now on, or just making a joke out of the question. Like, someone at work asked me once, "Dude, how do you get your shoulders in that shape?" And instead of spouting off information about the training I was doing and the length of time I'd been training and how I started with strength training program, worked up to a pre-exhaust program and counted my calories out, etc, I just said, well, I work on the IT help desk and I'm really bad at it, so I'm shrugging my shoulders about 90% of the time. or someone asked, how do I lose belly fat, or how do I lose this belly? I mean, this is a really common question, by the way. And all I would say is, well, you got to lift weights, do cardio, and eat right, and it'll go. Simples. And then I'd try and steer the conversation somewhere else because I didn't want to become that boring guy who's just a fitness obsessive or whatever. But even though this was a good answer, I could have given away so much more information. I could have given away all the information that these people needed to get that exact result. But in 2013, I decided that I really did hate working on the IT help desk. And I'd been there for about 3 years at that point, so my shoulders were massive by now. But I hated it so much that I decided to give it up and try and make money somehow on the internet. I'd been reading about people who did this and had done a lot of research on how to work for yourself. I read stories of people breaking free of like the 9-to-5 grind, and I wanted a piece of that. I knew a lot about fitness, weight loss, and building muscle. I had a lot of experience in earning fitness results. I knew how different people approached a fitness goal, and I was enthusiastic about sharing my knowledge and experience. So the first idea was to write a blog, get some affiliate products and sell them, or use advertising on my wildly successful new website. So I quit my job with this plan. I had a bit of money saved up that would tide me over until I started making some online income. I knew this could take time, so I didn't spend a penny that I didn't have to. Now, what has me quitting my job and wanting to make money from the internet got to do with a fitness podcast and fitness? And why am I telling you this? If you've listened to my other episodes, read or listened to any of my fitness books or guides, you'll probably have heard or read the phrase, if you can achieve a fitness goal, it'll enrich your whole life. And I can say with 100% certainty that if I had not gone from being a total running failure to someone who could run 1.5 miles in 8 minutes and 22 seconds, if I'd not been able to develop so significantly in my endurance in the army to earn a place in the airborne forces, if I had not endured a pre-contest bodybuilding prep to earn a bodybuilding trophy, there is no way that I would have had the confidence, motivation or conviction to even attempt this. And something else that helps me out on a personal level is that I've never thought of myself as someone who is naturally good at anything. So if I can do this, anyone can do anything. I know what it took to get impressive fitness results. You may have also heard me say things like, to get any kind of fitness result, you need to have a goal, have a plan, and you need to stick to it with 100% dedication, and you need to keep getting up when you fall or get knocked down. Well, this is exactly the approach that I had. I treated my new life choice as a lofty fitness goal. I went at it with conviction, put in the hours and picked myself up when I get knocked down. And I'm often still picking myself up because I haven't hit my goals yet. So I built a website after self-teaching through YouTube. I started blogging and writing about fitness, and after a short time I stumbled upon the self-publishing world, and from there wrote a bunch of guides relating to fitness training and mindset. This also allows me to answer all of the fitness questions that I've ever been asked, and with all the detail that is needed. It gives me a chance to share my experience and knowledge with anyone who's looking for it. And the whole self-publishing, formatting books, planning, writing content and such also adds credence to my thought of, if I can do this, anyone can do it. You see, I'm no academic. I was even in the special class for English at school, and if someone came into one of my classes back at school and announced that one day I would be a fitness author, there would have been more than a little bit of raucous laughter. So yes, most of the credit for what I have done so far with gymshealthandmuscle.com, audiofitdesk.com, this podcast, and everything on Amazon and Audible has to be attributed to the success that I have had with fitness and training myself. At the beginning of this episode, I talked about finding a plan or something that you can follow, and once you've found one that you like the sound of, you should stop looking and give it a good chance. I also mentioned that every fitness instructor, fitness blogger, YouTuber, fitness authority has slightly different ideas when it comes to achieving fitness results. Now, I'm not one for crash, deprivation or supplement dependent diets. I don't believe that there are any quick fixes. I use training methods that promote muscle function and development, promote good posture, and always look at the body as a whole right from the beginning of anyone's training. I believe that any fitness goal that's worth having is worth having and progressing towards for life. After all, healthy living and development of the body and mind is an ongoing thing. For example, a goal for a bride to lose a couple of stone for her wedding is a great goal. But if I were the trainer advising on this, I'd educate on balanced, sustainable eating rather than a crash diet. And I know that a crash diet is a very common choice for this kind of situation. I would also have a focus on muscle toning or muscle maintenance depending on the person, because losing fat is one thing, but you can lose a bunch of weight and still have weak muscles. But anyway, the crash diet thing is a quick, seemingly easy fix, but it's not sustainable. Once the goal or time frame had been reached, it'd probably all be over and back to the way things were, not to mention a negative shock to the body. I would want to plan for the long term. I mean, what about after the wedding? If she achieved this goal by doing it my way, she would have established some great habits, and it'd be a seamless transition to carry on after the big day. She will have built mental robustness, and that should not be wasted. It should be developed further. So all of my guides are based around long-term progressive training that you can use for a lifetime. I focus a lot on the mindset side of things because this is a big deal, and I know it makes all the difference. I also love to hear from readers, and I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone gets stuck. But that's a bit about my background as to how I came to be a fitness author, how I'm speaking to you now, and what I'm about when it comes to fitness coaching. I hope it's been interesting. I hope that you can get with my whole philosophy, and at the very least, if you're wondering how on earth you're going to hit your fitness goal, you should now believe that if this guy can do it, why can't you? Now, before I wrap this episode up, I just want to thank the guys that reviewed this podcast again for the feedback. It's great to hear of your success and comments, and they also help me improve, but it'd be great to see more reviews or comments if you're finding these podcasts useful. So please feel free to chime in. And thanks for listening. I've been Jim. All the best. I'll speak to you next time.